I'm Katie.
And I'm Kay.
And you're listening to the Babes of Quinte podcast.
This episode is sponsored by Family Dental Center, locally owned with offices in Belleville, Frankfort, and Coburn.
The Family Dental Center has a friendly team that can help you with all your dental needs, including hygiene, cosmetic dentistry, dentures, Invisalign, veneers, sedation, and whitening.
Family Dental Center also has extended hours with appointments available before and after work and on Saturdays.
For more information, go to familydentalcenter.com or follow them on Instagram at FDCFamily. Hello. We've never sat like this before.
No, it's really weird.
I kind of like it.
I'm
into it.
I think it's just because there's no barrier between us. Like the computers are not between us. So you feel closer to me.
Yeah, I just also don't like that I can't see the buttons for some reason.
Yeah, well,
we're on the air. Someone will tell us.
Yeah, someone would have written and told us already.
I think so. This is good eye contact.
It's making me so uncomfortable.
I love it. I'm just staring wide-eyed at you. Happy Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
This episode's actually coming out on our proper date. I can't figure out if I'm hot or cold right now. I'll just do a half C's. Half sweater, half on, half off. Whew, okay,
how did I not realize you have a chicken tattoo?
Oh, it's my angry rooster. It's hidden. It says F politeness.
That's really cute.
It's from a podcast I listen to.
Which is also, okay, so it's funny because you sent me videos today of you with chickens.
I hate chickens. I hate them. I hate chickens, and I have a rooster tattoo. I hate roosters the most, and I have one tattooed on me.
But yeah, no, the video was really funny because it's Katie feeding the chickens.
I got
just yelling.
Meat bird. I'm healing from my farm trauma now, so I can talk about it more. Then I started dating. It's the second year. We had meat birds the first year. I got meat birds, which are like the white chickens you see, and you raise them to slaughter. And I hated them. But people love chicken.
I think they're adorable.
They're not. They're a-holes. And
but they're smart, aren't they?
No, they're not.
They're very dumb.
So dumb.
Do they not have personality?
No. They have I want to eat you.
Oh.
Some people love chickens. I get it.
I think I could have
I'm just not one of those people. Every farm I've worked on, I've been attacked by a rooster, including my own. Yeah.
I feed you.
I feed you, and you just attack me.
That's rude.
But yeah, I just needed a tattoo once, and I said you could tattoo whatever you want. So she put an angry rooster on me. And I was at market once, and this girl was like, I love your rooster tattoo. I was like, thanks, I hate roosters. And she was like, and you have it tattooed on you? I was like, yeah.
That checks out.
I don't have to like everything. It's funny because roosters are really rude. We'll share a photo of the tattoo, maybe.
And then maybe share the video of
Definitely share the video.
The video and the tattoo together make
having a tantrum trying to feed my chickens, and Jeanette was just filming me instead of helping me.
That is some great partnering.
That's really, we film each other doing, once she was riding one of our water buffalo, and I was just filming her, and then Gladys started, the buffalo started to run, and I didn't help her.
I have a joke for you.
Okay.
I thought it was
Is it a chicken joke?
No.
Okay.
It's a really funny joke. It came across it on the internet somewhere. I don't remember where. What does a deaf gynecologist do?
What?
Read lips. I'm dying.
And she's coughing. It's so funny. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Why are chickens so funny?
I don't know why.
Because
I said that to you today.
So many people have sent that to me.
It was so cute.
It's so cute. And it's cuter when a kid does it. So before we start this week's episode, we had a very lovely woman named Carly reach out to us. And she owns On Board Charcuterie. Now, here's the thing. My family says as a joke, charcuterie. So I do apologize if I say it wrong. But there's her card. It says On Board Charcuterie. Carly
I'm also
Thompson.
filming this too.
She's filming it. Grazing boxes, boards, and styled grazing tables. So she made us a little 2-person box. You can get bigger boxes, and you can get full tables. It is beautiful. It's wrapped in twine. I'm going to explain it to you as I open it. She gave us a wood knife, which I love. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Sustainability. Or that stuff. We like the earth is what we're getting at.
I did take environmental studies at school. So in this box, there's all of our favorite things, including salami, nuts. I don't love nuts, but you know.
I get we get
you get it. Okay. Dark chocolate. Also little tiny tongs, which I love. Little wooden tongs. Crackers. Blackberries. And Manchego cheese, which is my favorite cheese. She didn't even know that, so thank you.
And it is beautiful. There's
it's
like
beautiful.
flowers.
Oh, sorry, let me turn it around so you can see it. There's flowers. There's chocolate.
I'm just like floored.
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
This would be like a good gift to give to yourself. Like if you just have had a week, order yourself a charcuterie box.
Yeah, honestly,
or a whole board. I don't even
I
care.
could straight up just like, I feel like this is like a Friday night. I don't want to make dinner.
Yeah,
I just want to kind of snack and chill.
The best grape I've ever eaten.
Is it a Concord grape?
I don't know what that is. It's delicious. Oh, there's also like sauce. I love sauce.
That is a really good grape.
It's a really good grape.
Where did this come from?
I don't know.
Carly.
Why
are you holding it out? No, it's babe.
So it's delicious. I just ate a grape. Let me get some manchego, which I already know I love. I'm gonna do a manchego with some salami. I'm gonna skip the cracker right now, just because like, do you know what? It's so good. You just do like a little. You don't need a cracker.
You just need cheese and meat.
A little ASMR.
If you hate hearing people chew, this is not
the podcast for you. It's so good.
This is Parmesan.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't know cheese. I'm lactose intolerant. I'm eating it anyways.
Let me see.
It's delicious. It's cheddar.
It's like an old cheddar.
It's a good cheddar.
Did you take a picture of it before we started eating it? It's in there.
I took a photo.
Okay.
But
so you can reach out to Carly to order a box at thompsoncarly18@gmail.com, or you can follow her on Instagram. So please treat yourself.
Thank you, Carly.
Thank you, Carly. This is amazing. And I love snacking.
I love snacking. Now I want meat. No, we're not done.
I don't think we're supposed to be eating in here. I don't care though.
But we're not near computers, so we're good.
No.
What is it? ASMR?
Sure. I'm just chewing with my mouth open. Not cute. I don't even care.
This is really good.
It's so good.
I need to know more about these crackers.
Yeah, these crackers, these little ones, really good.
They're buttery.
I want to eat all the grapes. I just feel like I love a charcuterie box board, but I hate making them. Like, it's so much effort. So why not get it so someone makes it for you?
Yeah, I'm the kind of... I love charcuterie, but, like, when I make them, they look like a child's Lunchable. Yeah. They don't look this pretty. There's, like, rosemary in here.
There's rosemary, there's flowers.
I don't know what that is.
Sage.
Oh, look at you.
I used to be a vegetable farmer. Oh, right. Shout out Time Again Gardens. my first farm. That's why I'm gay.
Are we allowed to eat the flowers?
No. Well, you could eat the herbs. Maybe it's edible.
I'm not going to.
It
smells pretty.
So now back to our regular scheduled podcast?
Yeah.
It's funny because this week we also had food people on, and I think everyone knows it was Flossie's, it was Kyle and Jimmy.
Yeah.
We learned a lot about... You're still eating. I love this.
I'm still eating.
We learned so much about ADHD. Mostly Jimmy's ADHD, which we love. I hope his diagnosis is going well. Kyle's just a gem of a human. They're both just magical. It was just a good time.
Honestly, they are just like some of the best people.
They're good.
And like
good
they're
vibes.
just like, they make incredible food, and they're just like super kind, and the food is just so good. The food's
so good. We talked about the new location. We talked about them. We talked about getting diagnosed and knowing your worth. It was a roller coaster of emotion.
So many feelings.
But without further ado, enjoy this chat.
Enjoy our chat with the guys.
We're excited to be chatting with two individuals bringing bold sandwiches to the Quinte area. Kyle was raised in Ottawa and eventually moved to Toronto to work in the corporate world. That is where he met his now wife, Nelda. Kyle had a dream of opening a sandwich parlor, and with the support of his wife, the pair decided to move out of the big city and open the business in Prince Edward County. That is when Flossie's was made. Kyle jumped in head first and started hustling sandwiches at the Wellington Farmers Market and around the Quinte area. In 2018, Flossie's got a permanent home at Carson Arthurs Garden Market. In 2018, Jimmy, joined Kyle on the truck. If you have visited the truck, you have probably heard the positive energy from him. Originally from Toronto, he relocated to our little paradise to assist Kyle. In the summer, he bikes from Belleville to the truck, which has given him incredibly, ridiculously strong calves. From starting at the Wellington Farmers Market, Flossie's now has 2 locations, including a new one in Belleville at 250 Sydney Street. We are excited to welcome our friends and the badasses behind Flossie's Sandwich Parlor, Kyle and James. Hey.
Hi.
Are you so excited?
I've never been referred to as a badass.
Ever?
Really?
Yeah,
Never.
No, never.
Yes.
That's
Things that rhyme
shocking.
with badass.
That's right. I've said it about that side.
Yeah, but I was a different person before.
Oh, let's unpack that.
Yeah.
This is not my
It's another
podcast. It's
podcast.
Flossie's. That'll be part 2.
So get ready. Kay, you wrote the first question
Yeah.
down.
So are you guys just like raw dogging happiness?
Yeah,
Raw dog and
Wow.
happiness. Yeah, man.
that's an old reference. So you know what? It's funny. Sometimes you got to remind yourself to embrace and appreciate how awesome things are. I think we get caught up in the crazy day to day. I think any business owner, anybody can appreciate this, that you stop to appreciate just how awesome and the people and the things around you are. When we opened a new place in Belleville, I saw a buddy in the county and he was like, "So how are things?" And I had to stop and I didn't even know what he was talking about. And it's like, "Oh, the new location." And until he put that on me to stop and think, I didn't appreciate the faces, the people that took the time out of their day and drove from Trenton or Foxford or the county to come see us. And you get you get overwhelmed with that raw dogging.
Yeah.
Always overwhelmed by raw
right,
dogging.
and you're like, "Whoa, things are really great." I guess. I mean, I could give you a laundry list of haven't done this yet, and this isn't how I pictured it, and I'm not ready to this, and I don't even really want to open to the public because the place looks like this, but we'll get there. And so that's what's going through my mind. And until you really stop and get asked those questions in such a way, you don't, unfortunately, I don't know if it's just the human condition or me, appreciate as much as I should. And I think I'm really trying to work on that. Going into this year, it's like an intention that I've set is gratitude, practicing gratitude, and appreciating those things, because we've come a long way from the Wellington Farmers Market for sure.
So far.
I mean, I would even start with, what is happiness, man? Right?
I don't know if we have time for all that, but let's try.
So, but to answer that question simply, it's a hard yes. And for me, it's about what I thought happiness was. So why I came in here and what I was chasing versus what this actually is and how much happier I am with what's actually going on versus what I envisioned, wanted, it's happiness needs to be different than what I am right now. And so whatever that is, let's go chase that. Mm-hmm. And then you end up getting there or arriving, but you evolved and changed. So that idea from before isn't whatever, but if you can let that go and sort of answer a question when you're asked, it's nice. And then every once in a while, I ask myself that question. And then the mirror and the tears, it's wonderful. I love it.
I love a mirror cry. Just watch myself sob. I'm like, this is good.
It is good.
You do though seem so happy. When I come to the truck, it's just a ball of positive ray of energy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And it's interesting because I can think specifically of our last interaction at the truck, and I remember replaying that and not thinking I did a good job.
You did a great job.
Right.
I think I was show me your calves, and then I think I talked about your butt.
Something about the bike, and then I showed you the calves, and then
I
had to say,
nice,
I'm up here.
And there's a lot of looking.
But guess what? That makes me
I think
so
it's good.
happy because I have done so much work.
On yourself?
Oh, yeah.
We love that snap.
Yeah, snap it up. And we'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, those little things, that little moment, talk about my bike and the calves, as vain as it might be if you don't know me, man, those are some major accomplishments that I've done. I can hear the emotion in my voice when I'm talking right now. And I like it.
Are we going to cry today?
Yeah.
Probably.
Are you kidding?
I'm going to cry on the podcast for a third time.
Hey.
No
This year.
Charm.
Where did you start? Like, you were in Toronto, Kyle. Why a sandwich parlor? Why Prince Edward County?
Sandwiches were just something I think growing up, it was near and dear. I grew up in like Little Italy of Ottawa.
Oh, right? I didn't know that.
There was this place called Di Rienzo's that you can still go, and it's very nostalgic. You can like pick your whatever bun, you hand it over the counter. They make you a sandwich like the size of your head.
Love it.
And that was growing up, and so it was just, to me, it was the best food portal. Before I was introduced to burritos and different things, right? But it still is, and I loved it. And I just watching, Food Network and different things, and growing up in the restaurant, a lot of front of house stuff. I was always drawn to it. My dad was a chef, and then he hung up his coat and knife roll when he started having kids. Oh. And so we always ate very well at home. And so that's where I got the draw for cooking for people and crowds. My dad loved cooking for people, making beer and wine and having people over. So I think that was just kind of ingrained in my upbringing. And I just also, as looking at my parents, so he hung it up. My dad worked in the government. We lived in Ottawa. You had to have a sound job. You had to play it safe. So I always tried to do that. And I jumped from every plumbing apprenticeship to door-to-door salesperson to finally starting working for a startup company in the fintech sector with James. Like, just doing everything that I thought sounded right, that provided all the check marks of security. You couldn't, and it was my wife, she's an entrepreneur, was like, are you going to keep talking about this pseudo sandwich shop, or are you going to do it? Conviction. I was like, oh, right? So it's like,
scary.
Okay. Yeah, like, what do you mean? Like, people don't do dreams. Of course I'm going to just talk about it, right? And she was like, no, that's nonsense. Like, we're going to have a son soon. Like, is he going to grow up hearing about this thing that you wish you would have done?
Thank you, Nelda.
And yeah, so really, yeah, all the everything goes to Nelda on that. She's the reason. Even now, she's the driving force behind, suck it up, buttercup, right?
Do it.
Yeah,
just do it.
So many things, right? So without her, I don't think I would have ever had the nerve. I would have just talked about it, kept cooking for friends and enjoying it and having fun, and we'd have barbecues and doing those things. But I didn't realize that you could actually, bring it to reality and start doing it for other people. So it's been really tricky, but it's been, you're living your dream as much as it's scary and it gets really tricky. Fake it till you make it. It's what I've been trying to do.
I think that's what you have to do. And
I've literally had this conversation yesterday. Okay, so we got a DM.
Oh, I love a DM.
It was Laura from Periwinkle Design. And we got talking about, she's like, yeah, you guys are killing it. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
No idea.
Ever.
Right.
She's like, neither do I.
That. Right.
And I was like, I would never know because, you're killing it and you're doing it and you're just like running. And, if you splat on the window or whatever, like it happens and then you just pick yourself up and keep going. And
that's it.
And that's kind of like what we're doing. And it's like, it's cool to hear that like you guys are doing that too. So
100%. But to get that recognition from other people, like I think that's what really, like just to the earlier point of people making you stop to think to be grateful. People make you stop to think like, oh, I am doing it. Yeah. Because sometimes it doesn't feel like you're just treading water. Yeah. And I don't know how it is. Like half the sandwiches that I put on the menu were created by fluke. And there's times too where I tell a lot of people like I'm dragging my butt leaving the house at 11:30 at night, and then I think of like, well, what's the alternative? And it's like I remember what I used to do in a call center and everything else. So it's like, oh, great, I get to go to the kitchen and make tomato sauce.
Yeah,
I love making tomato sauce, right? So it's like it's perspective on that front, right? Which you have to remind yourself of, but. Yeah, that's just part of it. It's just little things each day. You're just kind of chipping away, and then it's like, whoa, all of a sudden you're sitting here doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Basically, yeah.
For me, I tell that story a little different. Kyle moved out here because I think they were driving through Prince Edward County pregnant with Jack. Mm-hmm. And it was like they fell in love with this area. Yeah. And so Prince Edward County is in the back of the head. The sandwich thing, this thing has been in this guy's mind since he was 15 years old, right? Like towards the end of our career where we used to work, we started spending time with just each other, and we'd still do the things we were doing, go for a pint, go for lunch, whatever. But like, he started sharing with me this Flossie's thing. And like, I remember we were to the point where we were kind of getting burnt out with what we were doing. Like, what are we actually doing here? And there was that thing. So like, that was some cool energy and it was fun. And then my story is that like my life got so messed up that that job that I had, they pushed a manila envelope across the table and said, take this money. We don't want you to come back.
Oh, that's
and
fun.
yeah. And so like the next day I woke up and I said, oh my God, I don't know who I am. Everything has fallen apart in one day. I'm by myself. I'm very unhealthy because I'm like full-blown alcoholic. I'm well overweight, very unhealthy. And like the only person from that world who's not only calling me to see what's going on, but's taking my call is this guy right here. So like I start going down that path, which is intense. And he's now with Nelda and like maybe even pregnant by this time. And so now like the rest of the world needs to get figured out. I don't know. These are my words, not his. And they drive through Quinte County. And then one day he's like, I'm moving out there, man. And it was like, okay. And it was Flossie's.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm 3 months out of this world that I lived in for 7 years. I don't know who I am. I get a job that next spring. He's got a tent and a cooler. And I said, buddy, I'll come out. I'll take the train. I'll come out on Fridays and we'll do this thing. I started, it was like every other weekend. Come Friday, we work in the morning. A couple of weeks, we're doing pop-ups in the afternoon. We're doing Sunday markets. A couple more weeks. We're doing late night eats.
Breaking down, setting up Sandy's ice cream shop.
Yeah.
Oh, every weekend we finished at Sandy's for ice cream.
Oh.
So Sandy was one of my first people that I made friends with out here.
We love
wonderful.
Sandy.
And like to me, that's the beginning of the Flossies you guys know and love now. Like, and so Kyle uses this word as strange. We were strange. I was on a journey and I needed to get my shit together. And I was on a path and like where I was at that point, I needed to dip.
Yeah.
He needed me to dip too. That's just the way it went. But what's really great about Kyle and I is like when it was time, and we both knew it was time because I was working on something, making amends. Kyle sent me an email, like out of nowhere. Sent me an email, said some things, read it. But we were on the phone in 30 seconds. I'm like, I'm on the train. Like, and I came back out that winter.
Yeah.
And I met Lana. So because that time, by that time, Kyle is still hustling, man, doing his thing. He's got Carson's going, all this stuff. And I come back out. I remember going to the truck and I saw the thing on the side, like the Flossie's philosophy. And I saw this truck. So when I was there, it was a cooler and a tent, man.
Yeah.
You used to cook off the truck, but we couldn't set it up in the county. There's bylaws.
Yeah.
It's a shame, but we couldn't use the trucks. It was on my property, and we'd be hand frying eggplants 3 at a time.
Yeah, man. And like cutting it the wrong way. But like that was the process. It was so much fun. It was that summer for me was one of the most pivotal summers of my entire life. And it planted the seeds that ended up being me moving out here full time.
Yeah.
And even so, from that time, there was this time where we didn't talk, like for a year or so.
Yeah.
And then we started chatting, and like we weren't seeing each other. We're chatting on the phones. And like I'm telling Kyle who I am and what I've become. By the way, I missed something. There's the dramatic reveal of when I get off the train and he sees me the first time in a year and a half, and I've lost like 150 pounds. Like I'm a different person, an entirely different person. Because there's that element of my story as well. And he was like, we need to miss a beat. Yeah, it's like, where do we go from here? And like we were just chatting. I was doing my thing, he's doing his, but we're talking and we're planting the seeds. And we're telling each other, and then. And then just one day I'm like, let's go. I'm moving out. And like 2 weeks later, I had an apartment. Yeah. Because somebody who he knows, he sent a message to, and the guy was like, 1 bedroom or 2.
It was funny, like you said, starting that story was like, so you were let go from Money Q and you were working at that startup. And your response wasn't any different. You were like, if I ever get laid off, man, I'll be out there in a minute. And then it was kind of, as you said that out loud, you're like,
3 years later.
Right.
3 years later, not in that moment.
Instead of living in that moment where that worst thing happened to you and making changes when you're in the worst scenario.
Yeah, when you have no choice.
Dire need. That's when we make so many life-changing decisions. But you kind of said, as those words hit the air, you're like, I have to wait to.
Yes. Well, fast forward to that conversation where I say, like, I'm ready. And it was so, we know COVID and like I'm working from home and doing nothing else. So like I realize I don't like not only the job I have, but like the industry I'm in for the last 15 years. I'm done. Like, how do I get out? I start joking with my other friends, like, I'll quit my job working at a used bookstore. I'll take 25% of the money if I feel like that might make me feel better. Because I'm going to be a postman. I'm going to be all these things.
Yeah.
Because like what I am now is not, it's not who I'm becoming.
It's like feed your soul.
No, man. It's crushing my soul. And I now have the awareness, because I worked on that like really, really hard. And it was like, I'm aware, but I got to pay the bills. Like, I'm aware, but it's COVID. I'm aware. And then there's some other reasons.
Yeah.
And then I said to him, like, man, let's go. If I got laid off, I'd be there.
Yeah.
So for the first time in my life, I made a choice. I stepped off that ledge on my own.
Yeah.
And like the universe said, okay, we've been waiting. And here are all of the things that you were afraid of. And we're just going to go ahead and like iron that out for you because you surrendered, whatever the words you want to say, like made a decision. And like, yeah, man, that was April last year, 2021.
That's when you officially moved.
April 2021.
Wow.
And like 18 months to the day, we opened the door to the second location.
Yeah. You watching where you came from, because like slight brag, I was the fry girl on the truck.
Fry girl, you're the first face.
I was the first face. I made up a lot of people's names when I forgot.
Loved it.
And they were like, okay, that's me. But
but they knew you.
They knew. Okay, yeah, great. They knew who I was yelling at. I was like, I'm going to call you Steve, and you're going to come when I say Steve. Yeah, and then you come get your food. But watching where it started, just like Lana was like, I'm going to work for this guy Kyle on a truck. And I was like, cool, I'm going to be in Carson's. And then you guys were hustling market on Saturdays, and Lana was like swamped. So you were like, can you come work the window? And I was like, sure, let's do this. So Lana and I were just like this lesbian power team, making the 14-year-old very confused.
Never been able to replace, by the way. You always
I don't know. Jimmy makes it pretty good. But we were dropping fries in like little deep fryers in the truck. Yeah, countertop deep fryers. Yeah. And now coming and seeing where you come, like deep fryers outside, huge tents, like it just brings me so much happiness and like the community you've created.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. It's really... It's wild. I don't know. Well, it's because of people like you that have been a part of helping me and getting me to there, and the people that come to the truck week in, week out.
I think going back to that thing you talked about earlier, where you got a DM and someone said you're doing great, and you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I think, man, that first summer at the truck, and like what we were doing, and the conversations that you get to have. Now, sometimes it's super busy and you don't get to have them. And like, I know I feel it when I don't get to have them, or I don't get to be that guy to the person because it's too busy. But boy, oh boy, do we get so many opportunities to have real conversations. And every once in a while, we're across the counter from another business owner in the county. And for whatever reason, we're making ourselves vulnerable. And we just tell people what we're doing, how we feel. And they say something similar to like me too, or here's my version of that. And now we're across a table from somebody who's enjoying our sandwich, but also like teaching us entrepreneurial things that we might have figured out on the 5th try, right? And like that is the learning curve you can't like account for, predict, but when it's there, you got to carpe diem, seize that day.
I think too, like earlier, you guys asked why this area. I don't necessarily know why, other than like how stunning and amazing it is. We were just submerged in it and driving and stopping. Like, where are we? We got to move here. And it made sense. We're like, oh, we're halfway between your parents and my parents. And then when we moved here, like, whoa, we're not close to anybody and we have no support. Right? So, but it was just such an incredible area. And to what James is saying too, like we would have never had the success if I tried to do this in Toronto, right? In hindsight, you say in hindsight, but in hindsight, it probably wouldn't have been. Like, I could have maybe been getting up on Saturdays on my job, I wasn't hungover, and done the Junction Market.
Yeah.
Maybe, and I might have learned some stuff. I may have been so discouraged to not do it. But because coming out here, there's so many other like-minded individuals and startups and business minds that we were encouraged and supported. Instead of being viewed as competition, we were like, yeah, man, this is something we learned last year, and this is a much better way to do it. Or, hey, if you don't have this equipment, I can lend it to you, right? And that was a big thing of me, like different people like Kirsten from, she was Outlet Foods, now she's like the bean counter. She was incredible in terms of like Chef Chris, Jerk a Bagel, like they were just people that were there for,
even
just
Lemonade Dave, number ET. Those were our neighbors. Those were just the guys who were set up around,
right? And
for whatever reason,
shared some insight and just helped and supported and encouraged.
I think farmers markets have that.
Right.
There's a whole culture
it's
going
a culture,
on there, man. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. And I know, like, when I first started, I never saw what was past the farmers market. That first summer when I came out, I think I've shared this with Kyle, that was more about me. For me, that was more about me, like, doing some penance, like using my energy in a way, being of service, getting away from the city, coming out here to fresh air. It was really wonderful. Oh, shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Can I ask, you're both sober, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't drink alcohol.
Okay.
Yes.
You don't drink alcohol.
Yes.
So you both don't drink alcohol.
That's right.
Yes.
And do you find it like easier to do it in this area than it would be if you had stayed in Toronto?
It's not easy for me to at all. Like, James is celebrating 5 years.
Wow.
Past November, yeah.
Good.
I've struggled. Like, I don't have anything near that. I think I'm only 90 days now.
But it's still right. 90, yeah.
Right.
You can celebrate that.
So, and it is for sure. For me, it's discouraging because it's like, always sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're here again, and you kind of make that same choice, and you kind of slip up, and you break promises, and even just to yourself. So that's been hard, and I don't want to. It's part of the surroundings that we're in, but it's all choices that I've made. But it's just not something that I've been able to fully let go of, take on full-fledged, but have taking it day by day, I guess.
So if you go back to that earlier part of conversation where I said that manila envelope and I woke up the next day and I didn't know who I was and all that. So, like, it turns out that is the easier version than the alternative. And by that I mean is, like, I was in a place where I had hit the rock bottom. I've lost everything, or at least the way I perceive it. And so everything is gone. My work, my relationships, my health, my finance, it's all gone. So I'm actually in a position where I can start from scratch. Now, I don't see it that way in the moment. It's nothing but suffering.
Yeah.
But when I started to build up some time and I got into AA and I started meeting like-minded people and I started hearing their versions, and their versions were, I needed to change this one aspect of my life, but I need to maintain all the others. That to me is hard. That to me is harder. Excuse me. Like, that is harder. I don't know. I didn't do that. Wasn't married with kids and then needed to fix my job, or had a job and whatever. I needed to stop drinking. Like, it was all crashed out. So, like, I don't even answer that question because I had sobriety before I moved out here. I got sobriety since I've been here. I've also, like, when I first got sober, all I knew is if I had another drink, I was going to die. Like, that's how real it was. Not like if I take a drink, I'm going to die. But, like, if I start drinking, I'm going to end up dead. And I did it all by myself, which is like the way you're not supposed to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I didn't know. I had nobody. I had nothing. I didn't even Google at that point. I was so afraid.
That was a point of contention even for us. I didn't respect the work that James was putting into his sobriety. I didn't take it seriously for myself. I was doing it because I promised Nelda I wouldn't, right? And then we'd get job offers to go to this vineyard or this brewery, and James would be like, I can't go to a brewery.
Well, it was the one thing. It came down to
I'm not going there.
It was the end of the summer.
What do you mean? Don't drink.
It was. He said, I need you to come out and do this one thing for me. We're going to go to a party. I need you to pop bottles for everybody. And I was just like, I can't believe
I didn't realize what I was asking.
Yeah. And so like, but all kinds of other stuff. But whatever. But man, like where you are, what geographical location you are, and man, like it's all about what's going on in your own head, and like how honest is the conversation that you're having with yourself, because only you know. And like I was in a position where I was tricking myself. I didn't trust myself, and so I could look myself in the mirror and tell myself something and I believe it, and then I come home 3 weeks later and go like, that was a lie, and then have to clean that up to the point where everything was just so messy. I lived in a mess, proverbially and literally.
I feel that's so hard.
You know, but like, so here's something else though that just came out over the last month, like ADHD, right? So like this thing,
did you just get a diagnosis?
So like I'm working on the diagnosis. I'm working on a diagnosis. Here's what's crazy, right? So I spent 5 years doing this journey, and it's wonderful. I got dramatic before and after photos.
We love a journey.
The whole life is a journey, man. Why are we deviating?
Did you journal?
Journaling? Oh, I got pounds of journals.
Love it.
Do we refer to journals in pounds?
I think so, yeah. Or like a quart, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Now I've lost. Oh, and so like I had these two labels that I had made peace with. And that was like that I was depressed and that I was an alcoholic. And that those things overlapped and overtook my life. Believe it or not, I was still successful in ways and whatever, but like that's who I was for 12 plus years. And like I was faking it a lot. And now I come to a point of 5 years of work. Wonderful. Look at me. Look what I'm doing. It's wonderful. I'm so happy. And this lady grabs me by the arm.
Was this at work? She did
at an arts and crafts festival.
We did something for
arts and crafts
the
up the road.
School of Hearing.
Oh, okay.
Sir
James Whitney.
Yeah, beautiful, wonderful experience. And we go in there. I'm not ready. I'm not on. Like I'm not Jimmy yet. We're setting up. I need to know.
Mask.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, like, yeah. We know.
You're masking. Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm not ready yet. I need to get where's my station? Where's the water? Where's my coffee? Do we have the music? There's little bits and pieces that need to be in place for James to become Jimmy and to really just let go and be himself. Right. And they were just really excited to see Flossies. And they came up and they were just asking us some questions.
Not now, lady.
And I mean,
shut up, children.
Maybe could be perceived as the tone of whatever I was saying, but like I wasn't into it. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, that wasn't good. We get set up. All I can think about was that interaction. And so we're set up, we're good. Coffee's working, music's on. I find them. I'm like, hey, listen, that whole interaction, I didn't like it. You asked the question, here's the answer. And she just stops me, grabs my arm and goes, do you have ADHD?
Was this a grown woman or a child?
This is a grown woman.
I was kind of hoping it was a child.
No, this is a grown woman. And she goes, you have ADHD? And I go, without missing a beat, I go, you know what? I'd be interested to talk to a doctor because I think with the work that I've done, I might be able to, and like something along those lines.
Yeah.
She goes, anyways, we end up chatting all day, exchange numbers. She sends me to a YouTube and a link and this, but I start thinking about it and I start Googling it. And it starts overlapping with all of this work that I'm doing. In that I've said stuff like my hamster spins differently. My hamster spins differently. And it's like, yeah, it might be. But like, not just because you say your hamster spins differently, but because there's those things. And it filled me. At first, I was really upset by it. Like, what do you mean? I got to go do more work? I just did 5 years of work.
It never stops.
It never stops. But then gratitude. You got to get back in that gratitude. What do I have?
Do you guys go to therapy?
I just started.
Good for you.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've been able to use my entire life as therapy because I can talk a lot and get people to talk to me.
That's what we're doing right now.
That's what we're doing
therapy.
right now.
This is basically therapy.
But I remember, like, it wasn't that long ago, Kyle mentioned that. I was like, what? Like, you just did that? Just mentioned it? Like, off the cuff. I'm like, that gives me strength. And, like, I start thinking about it and then that thing. So I actually went and saw, because I want to do the diagnose proper.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend 5 years YouTubing, vlogging, trial and error.
Like you're going to vlog your...
No, like looking at other people's vlogs
It's like,
to pick their bits and pieces, because that's what I did with my growth, my self-development, like alcoholism, like all of it. I just picked all of these pieces. It took me a long time. I was I'm to the point now where I don't mind asking for help. I guess.
That's really hard, though.
But it's liberating. It's free when you are across the table and you become vulnerable and someone goes, yeah, me too. And then you start sharing and it's like they share a thing with you that you didn't know. You go use that tool in your thing and now you're better off for it. Mm-hmm. And why? Because you were vulnerable in a moment when nobody was expecting it and you had a chat and it just happened to be a like-minded person. Sometimes it's not.
Too, on this podcast, because I don't really have a filter and I love asking people about themselves. I think this happened on the truck sometimes too. Someone would say something to me at the window and I'd be like, what does that mean? Let's talk about that more.
There's a lineup. Just give me a minute.
I need to talk to this person.
I do that with Kyle all the time. I'm locked in with him and we're talking about something that is very important. And he sees that there's things that need to be done and his eyes start going there. And I'm like a kid. And That's
so ADHD. You should meet Jeanette. She'll be like, you're not looking at me. Or she'll like pinch me like she bit me the other day. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yes. And
like you're bored.
Yes. Oh, it's just so like, if you're in a point in your life where you're like not afraid or scared to like learn new things about yourself, it can be pretty amazing for somebody to grab you by the arm and go like, do you got this thing? By the way, it happened 3 days ago at Michael's with another woman.
She told you as well.
She was helping me pick out a thing. I had this little thing, and I wanted to get leather, and I wanted to get the little thing, and I wanted to make it a thing.
Yeah.
And so she helped me. And she's like, do you have ADHD? I'm like, yes! And she's like, me too. She's like, I'm just going through it now. And because I said some words, a particular phrase that I guess she understood.
Do you guys all say the same phrases?
We do. Yeah, I think we all do. I went home, saw my parents. I said, my brother, oh yeah, here's a new thing about me, ADHD. My brother goes, oh, we all got ADHD. I'm like, Ryan, you got it. Like, you got it, buddy. We all got it.
I love this journey.
Honestly, I think that was like the turning point of my whole life, is getting that diagnosis and like learning about myself and my brain and how it processes information and how I like learn to do things.
Was that recently?
It was when I came back to work after I had Lincoln.
Okay.
And I had my 1 year review with like John and Ferg, and they look at me, they're like, you've been like a completely different person since you've come back. I'm like, I'm medicated. And I'm like, I know how to focus things, and like how my brain works is like, I'm writing everything down now. It's like
tools.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I have all these like tools to help me like be a better person. And they're like, yeah, you're a completely, like, we see it.
But see the other side too, like you're having to do that with 2 kids at home.
Yeah.
Right? So like James was saying how he was like clean slate, like, so you still have life going on around you, right?
There's
so to still be able to make that work out for yourself is incredible.
But how amazing is that though? Like whether it's even real or not, I don't even know. I'm big into placebo. So like, if I believe something is real, then it's real. And when this woman says this thing and I start looking at my life with just a little tiny different perspective, some things start making sense. I can add to my toolbox. Oh, wait a sec. Turns out I've already got a bunch of tools in my toolbox.
You have journals.
I've just been using different language. Yeah. Different wordage that was more associated with depression and alcoholism, which are like number 2 and 3 symptoms of
ADHD. Yeah.
Which was like mind-blowing. And I'm not looking for one word to define my stuff, although sometimes it feels really good. Because everything is a bunch of layers. But like that first weekend, with everything that was going on, our new location, the bumps in the road that comes with the Flossie stuff, and then that weekend, my whole kind of life split apart at the seams again for a week, which was amazing. Because that kind of stuff used to take a year out of my calendar. Or that would just be the way I was from that point. And so like that was a rough week, man. That was a rough week. And then I started doing those things, pull out the whiteboard again, jump in my gratitudes. Where's my journal?
Maybe we should get a whiteboard. Like
I'm going to Home Depot. I'm getting whiteboard paint. I'm making a whole wall of whiteboard, man.
Hey, Kay, did you know that 22% of people have dental anxiety?
I didn't know that, but that's not surprising since we both have dental anxiety. But do you know what helped me?
What?
Having Dr. Yasmin, the owner of Family Dental Center, on the podcast, she made me feel ready to go to the dentist again.
The Family Dental Center will help you with all your dental needs, including overcoming your dental anxiety, which may be holding you back from going to get your teeth checked.
They have locations in Belleville, Frankfurt, and Coburg with a welcoming team to make you feel comfortable throughout your entire dental experience. FDC also has flexible hours to work around your schedule, plus they're taking new patients.
Book your appointment online today at familydentalcenter.com or give your desired location a call. Follow the amazing FDC team on Instagram at FDC Family. How did you guys decide the Belleville location? Because I know Belleville's pretty pumped. We don't have to drive.
It was always kind of on the docket. Well, Belleville's been so great to us since we started the business. You know, we have a lot of support. And so it kind of like was a natural progression. I thought it might be too close and kind of oversaturated, and I thought maybe Kingston. But then I fell in love with French Street. And I feel like there's really like a gentrification going on.
Yeah.
It's coming up. And I was kind of part of Queen West when some of that stuff was going on. And I saw that. And so I'm like, yeah, we can do that. We can be a part of that.
Maybe you can help fix it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
But then we landed on 250. But I think why Belleville? I think just because it's our community. And I like, so Kingston was like, I had reasons for Kingston. I think it makes sense. But like, we're within this community, and we have a lot to give back, and we want to be a part of Belleville, and whether it's right downtown or just in the vicinity, it's a lot of opportunities. It's close to home still for us. This location proves as a nice home base in terms of like, I think guys in the industry have taught me it's like a commissary, which I didn't know what that was.
What is that?
It's like you will do a lot of the work there. It's such a nice, beautiful kitchen that we can prep and make food for the truck, for other locations and stuff, and kind of deliver and set up.
It's our hub.
Yeah.
That's like that's our central hub now. That's where,
because you have a full kitchen.
Unbelievable.
It's
not just like grills.
It is. And there's other businesses.
Like the other business, like my sister works in that building. Right. And like I know there's a bunch of other businesses in that building that we know, like Mops and XXL and like
tons of stuff, and more stuff coming. And so again, I tell that story a little different, and it starts the same way, which is like downtown Belleville was it, and we started seeing some places, and also too, I think even then, and I don't want to speak on Kyle's behalf, but at that point, there was a commitment in our minds of like, if we're going to do this, this is now like loans and designing a kitchen, because we were looking at places that were gutted and empty. Right? And we also saw some places that were already, but again, we're talking about this young man's dream here, friends. So there was a bit of a balance there. And what was interesting was Joe, the guy, his home base is 250. So we would meet him at 250 and then go out. And we did this once or twice, maybe a third time. I don't remember. But like, I think off the cuff, the first time he said, "What about this place?"
That was a fun.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
What are we doing? I'm like, Joe, this is a cafeteria.
It's a cafeteria.
I was like romanticizing. I had Pinterest boards.
Like, I see like the vision.
There's
it's so cool.
It can be.
So it could be, and it already is, friends.
It is.
But again, going back to this story, because this is another chapter in this wonderful Flossie story, and it's like there is that moment of like, what are you talking about? We're here to go see that down there, and then we go and see that, and then some stuff. It kind of hits what it is we might be getting into. And then it was, Joe said, well, why don't you just come and see it, have a look. And then it was, we had this meeting, and I don't quite remember the meeting other than what I was thinking about as soon as I get out the door to get in Kyle's ear. And it was something along the lines of like, we can make this work in such a way that it pays for itself, but we have access to this thing, man. Think about what it's going to do for the truck, the county. And like, that was the beginning idea of it. And it was again, a carpe diem, like, hey man, like whatever. So then Kyle went back and had a serious discussion, the details as it were.
Was the pool table there? No, is it a pool table?
All of that stuff.
So all that was there.
Yeah.
So you were like, this is terrible. What are we doing?
I don't even know if we could see that. I don't even know if we could see that though. We inherited Parlor games.
Right.
That's so fun.
Yeah,
Right.
And we'll work it into it. But for me, I just see what needs to still be done.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think too, when you're like behind the business, it's terrifying. Like
Big time.
when we were running the farm, I couldn't. People were like, "You're doing so great," and I'm like, "But am I?" Because I feel like I'm drowning,
Right.
and I
you
don't
have no
know.
idea.
Yeah, I'm
You wanna
like,
tell me I'm doing great?
Yeah.
Sit down for a second.
I'm like,
Yeah,
let
yeah.
me tell you my issues, and then it would be like taking a step back and being like, okay,
Right.
but it's that pressure's on you as
Big
like,
time.
But
it's
if
a
you
lot.
did you ever find yourself talking to other people who were going through similar things?
Yeah.
And then how that conversation was entirely different?
Yeah.
And so the county, I think that was the point I was trying to make an hour
Yeah.
ago. The county, the entrepreneurial spirit out there, and what they do that's different than everything I know from the city is they're like, oh, you're kind of in the same thing as us. Like, here's some of the stumbling blocks we had, or here's some of the things you could try. Because out here, it's the more the merrier, not you're infringing on my territory.
Yeah.
Because the thing I think is people come out to the county, tourists come out to the county for the experience, not one sandwich, one Airbnb, one winery. They come for
Oh my gosh, I remember
all
people
of
would
them.
come on bike tours,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, "How are you going to bike after you eat this?" I can barely bike like when I'm not full.
Right.
Yes.
I'd be like, "You're going to eat
They're
and drink and
romanticizing
keep
the
biking."
idea.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I'd be like anxious for them.
Right.
I'd love to throw an air tag on there and see where their journey goes, probably right to their room.
Some bachelorette
Straight to
parties
bed.
were pissed. Like the friends were like,
yes.
"Why are we biking?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
Why
"Why
are you
biking?"
Like, right,
Yeah.
yes.
But what you guys are talking about, like the community of the county, that brings me to you use like local ingredients. So how did you always want to do that? Or how did
Just to highlight, I mean, why wouldn't we? Especially being out here. But I think that would have been my goal, regardless of where we were situated, to use as local and highlight other small businesses. Because why not? But being out here, it's a no-brainer. It's almost harder not to use local, but we're just such incredible produce and farms and people, and it's like, that's really what Flossie's is. It's everything local.
Well,
Made from scratch.
I remember that first couple of weekends in 2018 when Kyle moved out here and discovered Joe from Wellington Bakery. So earlier on, Kyle mentioned a place that he would go.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. So when I walked in, I had everything lined up for the first weekend at the market except for bread. So I was opening a sandwich shop with no bread. So I knew where I was getting my meat.
Right on schedule.
I knew my cheese, everything else. And I just went in on like a last-ditch effort to go to the Wellington Bakery. And I started chatting with him. And I kind of made some kind of, backhanded joking comment to someone I've never met. And Joe kind of looked at me sideways, but it was well received. And he told me, he's like, come back here. So we started chatting, and he said, where are you from? In Ottawa. We started talking, and he's like, oh yeah. He's like, I used to own the Wellington area, the Richmond Bakery. He said, what? I'm like, you used to make the bread for DiRienzo's. He's like, yeah, that's right. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, that's the reason why I want to have a sandwich shop, is the place. So the guy who used to make the bread at the sandwich shop when I was a kid started making the bread for me out here.
So it's full circle.
Full circle, yeah.
That's kind of beautiful.
I love that. I kind of have a
it's kind of cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Tell me that stuff's not meant to be, man.
It's been a lot of very serendipitous things.
What's a sandwich?
I have the big question. How'd you come up with the porky?
That Petunia?
Yeah. Just so if people don't know, it's like homemade sausage wrapped in bacon and smoked.
Jesus.
And there's an egg on the sandwich.
And then we top it with a fried egg. And it's funny because so much of what I've wanted to do with Flossie's, we still don't even do an offer in terms of our actual offerings. So much has been the fake it till you make it. What kind of equipment can I use? And so again, we offer a lot of burgers and not sandwiches. I'm very insecure with that. I'm aware of that, people, before you send an email.
Please do not email. We're not taking
Can I
feedback
sidebar
today.
on something?
Yeah.
Do you consider a burger a sandwich?
No.
Thank you.
I don't think so. It's a burger.
Thank you.
It's in its own category.
But I feel like the porky to me is a sandwich.
This is a very
because it's not a burger patty.
Right, and people say that it is. And so how did we make it? I think it was one of those things that was like an easy go-to on kind of like getaway weekends with buddies that we would do. It's actually, in barbecue world, it's like the bacon explosion, but they do it a little different. I simplified it a little bit, kind of made it our own.
I think also too, if my memory serves, there was this time before Prince Edward County, before Flossie's. I remember that time after when I wasn't working, but you were still working at Money Key. It was winter, so I'm done at the end of September. It's December or January, 2017, 18. Kyle hurts his leg. He's off work. He hurts his foot, breaks his leg, actually, broke his ankle. And like, I had nothing to do. So like, I brought some food over, burgers.
So he was pissed, clearly.
So he was pissed. Right. And I kind of hung out with him that day, but that was when I showed up to his, apartment in Junction, and I saw the first Flossie's mug. So like, the idea of Flossie's, friend, has been flowing through your veins quite a while. But getting out there and doing it, I think that's the real thing here. This guy had mugs and t-shirts, man. We had a tent.
Yeah.
What is Flossie's named after?
My grandma. Yeah, my grandma. But the joke is the only thing she could make was reservations. She couldn't cook. Yeah, we used to go to grandma's and have KFC.
So cute.
That was, yeah, she did not cook, but she was just really special. She was near and dear to me and my mom's
mom. That's your father's mother.
My mom's mom.
Mom's mom.
Funnily enough, but my dad's the cook. That's where I got that. And so just all pulled together. I figured moving to the country, Flossie's a good old...
It's such a good
great name.
And the pig, is the pig Flossie or is the pig?
Flossie.
She's Flossie.
Yeah, he or she Flossie.
I was going to say, I'm like,
They, whatever.
Babe.
Yeah.
Babe, yeah.
Like babes.
I've gone all in. I've gone all in on the pig.
Yeah.
I love the pig.
I love the pig.
Whenever I'm wearing my Flossie sweater, people are like, oh my God, Flossie's. And like, I feel so cool because I get to be like, well, I actually worked
like
there and I know Kyle. It's like no big deal, but
That's all we want.
hilarious.
That's all we want for people who end up coming through. That's what we want.
That's cool. People come, that's like surreal. Like people come and they're like, I was at a Jays game in the city and someone came up to me. I was wearing my Flossie's hat. They're like, dude, I love Flossie's.
What about tell us the story about the grotto in Dominican Republic.
A lady she was in Florida.
Oh, okay.
And she sent me an email, not even like a regular, just some lady who like has been to the truck. Maybe she lives in the county anyway. She sent me an email. She's like, I was on a chartered fishing trip in Florida and some guys wearing a Flossie's t-shirt. I was like, what?
I don't know where grotto or Dominican Republic came from. That's my
sounds fancy. I like that. We're making up new places today.
I do that a lot.
No, I remember it was my brother's wedding weekend and all his wife kept saying was, I really need to go get Flossie's this weekend. I was like, maybe get married and then figure that out. But
it's man. So like, when we're the interactions that we have at Flossie's, right? Like the way that we are, the way that Kyle and I are, the way we run our lives, the way we think, it's like, man, when we are not doing what we perceive to be the best, because we know what the best is, we start feeling insecure about stuff. And so when people say with this new thing, how are things going? Some people have asked me, how are things going? And I've had to like stop, take my hat off and be like, I don't know how to answer that question because my brain wants to answer it logically, but that's going to take 17 minutes. And you just want a drink that I'm holding and won't give you until
this is
I hold
literally
people hostage
like
sometimes.
Me to a T.
Yeah.
I like ADHD. Like, can we just have a bunch of people with ADHD on the podcast? I think it would be such a fun time.
It'd be so much fun. By the end of it, we would start a business. We would have a club, and we'd have somebody be working on swag.
We'd all have new hobbies.
For sure.
I will say though, like Flossie's, because I read an article and you said you just dove in head first. You were like, we're doing it.
You have to.
And that's what we did with this podcast. And like,
for sure.
Kay started like kind of helping out with this other podcast and they're making like boards and they're doing all this stuff. And I'm like, do we need to make like a board? What, like why?
Yeah,
what have we done wrong?
Do we need to have a mood board and a business plan and all these things? And I'm like,
do you?
I'm like, you can if you want to be thoughtful about it. Like, and that's fine. Like,
maybe that's how their hamster's been.
You lose some of your authenticity.
Exactly. It's not who I am as a person, right? Like, it's just, this is what works for me. And
that is some of the stuff we've been going through here since we've joined Belleville, because we had, a bit of time to think about what we were going to do. Like, we knew we had the place before we kind of told everybody. Then we started telling everybody. But it was like, what are we going to do? And I think, and I don't want to speak on Kyle's behalf, but it was like new thing, like new opportunity, new thing. But my actions, like the way I conducted myself those first couple of weeks was I literally just continued to do what exactly I was doing at the truck. And oh boy, did I learn some lessons really quick because the truck is the county, which is the destination spot, which is like, oh no, I'm cool, man. It's going to take a while. We're here. Like, we're cool. Belleville, people are walking in going like, how come this doesn't work like McDonald's?
I need lunch 5 minutes ago.
I got 3 minutes. What can you do? And it's like, at the beginning, I just said, like, maybe this is not the place for you.
Yeah. But, maybe you should leave.
Yeah. And I know that there's a learning curve to all of that. But what I found was in those moments, I was so hyper aware that I was not. I don't even know how to answer what the other words are.
So at the Belleville location, you can get like the classics, but you also have takeaway sandwiches,
grab and goes, and soups.
Yeah, we did a whole thing specifically for $2.50
into the $2.50 crowd because again, they do need lunch. They have a short window, right, for their break, so they have to come grab something. So it was kind of already in our wheelhouse, but just not the focus. Like
we had never done it.
Coffee shops, cold sandwiches. So we just kind of upped our production. Try to do some sandwich exclusives for the $2.50. Price point was big for them, so we grew our junior menu. It's always important for me to have something for families to come. They can get something you feel good about that's, $10 all in. So we do that. We have a $10 menu that's, our junior chicken, strombolis, grilled cheese, junior burgers, stuff like that. So we had to really go more onto that, whereas like
Flossie
we're doing Flossie fingers, forgot.
Which are amazing. They're our version of chicken fingers.
Love it.
But like, they're really, really good.
Too. Like we're taking a breast and slicing it as made to order stuff. So.
And it's these things that like we had a lot of hard nose at the truck. Yeah. A lot of hard nose because we have a certain amount of space, certain amount of storage, certain amount of grill space. Like there's only so much we can do. And there was like there's some hard nose, and people will be like, "What do you mean you don't have yellow mustard?" It's like, we just don't have yellow mustard.
We don't have room for the yellow mustard.
Or like, can you like mods and stuff? Can you do this? Can you do that? And it was like, man, it would be so much easier if we didn't. But the hearts that we have, and like, so we got good at doing these kind of mods for people. But like, we're kind of streamlined. We got to $2.50 when I got to $2.50. Let me just speak on my behalf. I was saying stuff like I was saying to people at the truck. Like, no, I'm like, sorry, we don't have that. And I had to quickly adjust that. Up until now, we've never done it. But when we come back next time, let me have an answer for you.
Yeah.
And so quick lessons, man.
There's something in that too. Like I've also learned, I think I've compromised a little bit on coming here where it's like, I always want to try and please people as best as I can. But there's certain things that were proven for us at the truck. So like when you come up and order your food, the price includes your side. It's everything, right? So a lot of people are like, okay, we'll get this and that and side of fries for both. And it's like the fries are already included. So now from what your perspective was, it's a little expensive, but then you're like, oh, we're already getting fries? Like, oh, that's great. So now they're happy. They feel like they're getting a deal. Whereas here, I'm like, oh, we'll borrow something, from like Five Guys and Burger Rev, where these guys are like, this is a sandwich, add this, add that, add that. Same price point.
People the choice.
It's a marketing kind of visual. It seems cheaper, but at the end of the day, you're walking. But I don't think it's working for us, and I don't like it. And I think people that have come to visit us from the truck, they're familiar with the truck, they're getting their orders, and they're like, are you getting fries? Because they're just assuming, right? And, we should do a better job at saying, yeah, you want to get fries with that. But I think for me, it's like, gotta stick to our guns. This is what works for us, prove for us, instead of us trying to appease or change it up. It's like, why? We've got something that's, tried and tested. So coming out here is showing me that.
Yes.
And I feel like I've let people down. I've let myself down in doing certain things, but we're going to course correct it.
But it's all just learning.
That's it.
And you're just trying to see what people
really
like.
Right.
And sometimes you always remember the negative shit people say. You're like, oh, well, that one person didn't like this, so I have to change it. But you don't.
That's our human brain, man.
Yeah.
It's like your inner saboteur.
Yeah, we're really into inner saboteur.
When I come home, we served 100 people on a Saturday, and 99 of them were phenomenal. And 10 of them were over the top. They might even brought us a gift.
Yeah.
I go home and talk to Nelda about that one jerk.
Or the one time we made a mistake.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know why we hyper-focus
dropped
on
the
that
ball
stuff.
or whatever.
That happens.
That is.
happens.
It's part of the process.
Here's the thing, though. Here we are right now, 4 of us saying this out loud together, agreeing, feeling good about that.
We're gonna hold hands.
Can we remember
this?
Yeah.
Should we have a group hug?
I'll start dropping her in. But can we remember this the next time?
Right.
Yeah.
The next time. And so my lips are getting chapped because I'm talking so much. And so, like, that's the kind of work I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so, like, I just said this to Kyle because this is the first time I've seen Kyle since our 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I missed my buddy. Yeah. Like, I couldn't even wait for him to pick me up. I got an alert that there was some activity on the camera. I saw that he was there. I got up early and I came and I saw him.
You didn't bike here?
My bike's at the shop. Like, I still ride my bike even though I'm 5 minutes away from everything. Shoot, I forgot.
That's okay. That's how our brains work.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Constantly.
I'll go into Kay's office and be like, I came to tell you something. I don't remember. I'll come back.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like 20 minutes later, she's like, all right.
I'm having fun, though. I was so nervous when I walked in here.
Why?
Because I talk a lot, like,
That's okay.
about myself and about the stuff I love, but, like, never like this.
That's
Never
what we
like
love, though.
this.
But that's kind of like it's intimidating when you like first sit down, but then it's just like, oh no, we're shooting the shit.
Well, let me
But then people are going to listen to it.
Yeah, but let me. I'm not even concerned with that until right now.
Right.
You guys do a really good job of getting us in here, getting us going, and like I'm pretty sure you guys are going to start recording soon.
Yeah, I haven't been recording. These lights
This
mean
is the
nothing.
warm up. I don't know how this
Yeah,
works.
no,
Katie,
we're just
it's a red light.
Stop.
We're actually on the radio.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be amazing.
I did that
this
one
is
time.
all of this stuff. Like, man, I got pictures when I wanted to start a podcast because I listened to a podcast. And I'm like, I could do that.
Yeah,
I could do that, and still feel like we could do that.
That's how I started Flossie's. It was like, I can do this. Going to shops in Toronto, and like, I can do this.
Yeah.
The difference is they do it. It's
Just do it.
just doing it, right?
The leap of
I
faith.
feel like everyone
Learning.
took a course and knew full well what they were doing. It's like, not at all. Everyone's just like, you just gotta
I
do
have
it.
no idea. People are like, how do you do this? I'm like, I YouTubed it.
I think
Let's learn together.
Yeah.
literally
it's
YouTube.
presented as a polished, like these people who are on the YouTubes or on the Instagrams, life coaches and such. They likely have gone through a lot of trials, tribulations,
You're seeing
false
the finished
starts,
product.
and then you get to see the finished product, and I don't know how many things I look at that cool 100.1 sign and go, I want that, or I can make that, or I can do that, but I have no idea how many steps it's going to take.
That's an IKEA table.
Amazing. You see?
Yeah, it's an IKEA table.
And then
that
you
just
did a design on it?
Yeah, it's just vinyl.
I may have figured that out, but I would have spent $1,000 and many hours. I love that.
He's like, I need that.
So
blown.
I think, trying to round back, I think part of where we are, Flossie's right now, is because of the grill and the cooler in 2018 and those Canadian tire fryers.
Yeah.
You would do one one set of Mac balls in at a time.
Oh my God, dropping Carson serendipity. Larry would be like, we have 3. I'm like, I can only do 1.
We double blanch fries.
Yeah.
But
before service.
But we don't get here without that,
fryers.
though. We don't get here without that.
No, you have to do it. And I think you have to tell people, like, you have come so far in watching, like, the community has watched you guys grow, and everyone is so excited. And I know you're probably like, your inner saboteur is like, I'm shit, but you're not.
Well, thanks.
No, we think
you.
Well, for me personally, because I live in Belleville and I work in Prince Edward County and I'm a transplant, and I haven't had a real sense of community and belonging like I have since we started here in Belleville. So by being able to interact with those people who work at 250, who come to the counter 2 or 3 times a week, to now some of the people that are coming in and out, and they're getting a feel for what Flossie's are, or Flossie's is, if they don't know. But those conversations that I get to have and impressions being made or whatever, I get to see them again, maybe even exchange a number. I might get to make friends.
Yeah.
Which isn't to say I couldn't have done in the county, but my particular situation is I don't have a car. So
biking your butt off.
Bicycle, right? And so if I wanted to come out for an ice cream at Sandy's, I have to plan that day if I'm doing it on my own. And I don't mind asking people for help. A lot of people are like, hey, let's come with me. But you got to, again, carpe diem. So I really never got that in my first bit out of the county, as much as I have it now.
Yeah.
Not to say that I didn't get some of it, but to me, being the pillars of the community that feedback that we got in Prince Edward County, people who are excited for us, it's happening quick here in Belleville. There are people who are business owners or just community members who are coming out and saying stuff to us, giving us leads on things, sharing some information that is going to make us better, quicker. And I don't think we get that if it's not the time we spend with the people, the interactions, and the way we take things home with us, and the way we carry a little extra on our shoulders, and the way we think about it. It's part of our personality types. Our particular personality types kind of work well with the yin and yang. If I'm in a bad way, I need him to be in a good way, and and vice versa.
Oh my gosh, you're like dating, and I love it.
Right?
Oh, it's a full-blown bromance.
Shocking.
No doubt. And not even a little quiet about it.
No, you're in love, and I
You guys
love
like
your
tell each
love.
other you love each other?
Yes.
That's so important.
It's so important.
What's your favorite thing on the menu?
It's funny. Mine's always eggplant parm.
That's
because it's like nostalgic for me, right? And people look at me funny. They're like, "What do you mean? You're the pig guy. You got pig and bacon and eggplant parm."
I do have to tell a story about
What?
you and being the pig guy. When I started dating Jeanette, I was on the truck. That summer is when Jeanette and I started dating. She was a pig farmer. I brought Kyle a pig head.
Oh yes,
because he wanted it.
Well, hold on a second. Like a real pig?
A real pig head.
We ate it.
And he was telling someone about like nose to tail, and he's like, yeah, and I have this pig head, and the girl's like, I'm a vegan, and I was just laughing in the back.
All the people to tell.
Yeah, it was great.
But my question is
we did eat it. I remember we let it cool. I pulled it out of the smoker and just put it right up out there to cool, and everyone's like, what is this? Some people are like, delicious. Like, can I get some of that?
Like,
you ever had like the
jowl?
Yeah, the jowl.
So good.
You inspired us to do nomad bacon at the farm, and it was smoked jowl. It was so good.
Stuff. That's what we want to get to.
This guy, I'm telling you, man, and so here's what I've been able to witness since we've gotten to Belleville. The creativity that this space now provides. And I say that as a contrast from what we used to have at the county. Very specific equipment, very specific storage, very specific ingredients. Whereas now it's opened up, and so Kyle is able to try a thing on a given afternoon and be like, hey, try this. Yeah. And there's been a couple of things that have come out of the kitchen in like a real short amount of time that are like on the menu.
Let me tell you about the hickory popcorn.
Oh, the hickory popcorn.
Which I think you only did once.
Are you not?
Once.
It's so good.
I told my sister about it.
She came in.
And she came in. And he was like, what? I don't know what that is.
Please bring that.
And I'm like, and she texted me and she was like, he doesn't know what you're talking about. I'm like, I just ate the whole bag.
Right.
Like,
I didn't know that he had given you a taster of the thing. And so your sister came and was like, I came for this stuff. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like,
this is a made up.
And then I was like, oh shit, was I not supposed to say anything?
Is it done? You're not.
But I spent like 15 minutes.
I think.
No, we're going to figure out how to make it a proper product. So, like, a proper product.
I spent
that's the thing, way too long. How to produce this on a level that's viable.
Oh my gosh, I may have a hookup for you.
Yeah. But in the meantime,
I know a guy who makes kettle corn.
Yeah,
so that could be good.
Yeah. Also know a guy who
I would love to source that. If someone can do the popcorn and we can get down the sweetness, beautiful.
It was so good.
Because the hickory sticks we can do, we're starting to make kettle chips for Myers Creek, which actually turned out really nice. We've been having fun doing stuff for them.
What did you bring us? We're going to eat it.
Stromboli and so again, so these are like nostalgia stuff. Like it's
oh my god. We're going to film ourselves eating this. Don't worry. Good old mukbang.
Pizza pockets, right? When we were kids, pizza pops.
Yeah, Pizza Pops,
Pillsbury.
Yeah.
So underneath it is a pastry we make, and it's our Hogfather, porky petunia.
Yes.
But in Italian, arrabbiata sauce.
Yes.
It's like a little ham pie.
In my mouth.
And the other thing is just a stromboli. Fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
Just fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
But it's
guys, we have fun.
Yeah.
Do you?
From time to time, we do have a budget for fun.
Yeah.
When we're not crying in the mirror.
Well, I mean, but like, you know, here's what I've come to realize, right? Like, I like to flow. I like to go with the flow.
I wish people could see your body moving.
I gesticulate. I didn't grow up in Little Italy, Ottawa, but I gesticulate like I did.
Google it.
Are you Italian?
No, I just am one of these guys, you know. Shoot, what was I saying?
Gesticulate.
I love it.
This is so fun.
What are the hours of the Belleville? Like when and how do people come?
We're Monday to Friday. We're going to do 10 to 2 coming back. I'm looking to lean into evenings. I think Thursdays and Fridays would do as well to do like 6 p.m. Maybe after work.
Just to give
Maybe I'll come drop some fries for an hour. I'll come work an hour on Thursday.
We'd love it. We'd love to have you.
I will work for French fries.
Literally.
When you say something along the lines of like you were chatting with somebody and you got to boast that you worked at Flossie, it's like one of the things that we're trying to install in the culture now, because we've had some people who've come and they go, and we don't anticipate anybody coming to Flossie's for life. But what we would love is that for those people who spend some time with us, that help us and we help them and they learn and all of that, but that like next month or next year or 5 years from now, when you come back, because we're still going to be around, and you bring your friend for lunch, you feel good about the time you spent there. Because I remember some of the jobs I had in the summers as a teenager. I remember 3 of them were great, and I remember a couple of them were not so great. And like, I'd like to think that we can have a space that it's cool, a cool thing on your resume that you spent 2 summers during high school working out at the truck, because it's a lot of fun.
So fun. The music's fun.
The weather is
the
good
vibe's fun.
for the most part.
Sometimes it rains.
But like
I did ruin a boombox in the rain. It happened.
But have we ever ruined one after?
We had one CD. I think we were listening to like the Alanis
We started back when we had CDs.
What was in there?
I think it was a Alanis Morissette or something. No?
Yeah.
We just had it on
Meredith
repeat.
Brooks, something, but you're not wrong.
Great.
Yeah.
Love it. Good time.
That's really, you made me think of something there.
Tell me.
No, I think just, Katie, you were asking too, like, why Belleville? It's a lot of just 4 walls and regulated temperature.
Just
outside.
Oh my God.
Rain, that was one of our,
and not the hot days.
Well, that's it. Like, that was so much work gets done in the elements. And so that was a big thing. Belleville just provided that for us. So that was
my goodness. Reason. Yeah. And what's, hilarious too is that like a couple of months into this new thing, we're in winter, and it's like, man, I can't wait for the summer. I can't wait for April, May.
Right.
Ride that bike, get out there again. And so what a great contrast that we get to have, that in these early days of this journey that we're on, we're in the beginning of our next 5-year plan, but we have this juxtaposition of winter indoors and summer outdoors. And right now, it's one and the other. And we have this beautiful thing that's going to come up in the spring where we get to do both. I don't know what that looks like.
Don't panic. It doesn't matter anything. Kyle's like, why are we talking about this?
But like, let's talk about the fun part. Let's talk about the better feeling thoughts about that.
You need an employee. I have a teenager.
And so here's another.
I have a Jeanette.
Let's talk.
So, do you want a Jeanette?
You have a Jeanette?
Right. And so I know.
Take a Jeanette.
I know that even with all of the stresses and data, Excel spreadsheets that comes with this journey that we're on, we are so lucky that we get to have the fun that we do in the places that we do with the people that we do, because there's a lot of people who are having their entrepreneurial experience and it's just all Excel spreadsheets and all of that. And their other thing is, the house, the family, whatever, but right there in the middle of our day, we're having fun. And I'm free.
You don't love what you do. Like, what's the point?
Right. But I've heard that my whole life. And I would be upset with that because it's like, I don't know what I love, man. You know what I mean? So this idea of if you know what you love and it's not work and blah, blah, blah. Right, but what happens to the people who don't know?
Yeah.
It's always going to be work. That's something not to discard. There's always going to have to be work into it.
And there's going to be a hustle.
You don't like.
Yeah.
And there's going to be burnt things
But
and
you're gonna
forgotten
cry and you're
things.
gonna be angry.
For
It's
sure.
gonna suck.
That all comes with it.
That ping-ponging from amazing to tough to fun to crying in the mirror to all that.
In the same day.
In the same day.
2 hours.
In my world, in my reality, on my timeline, is so much better than this median I had before, where I was just constantly like just a steady line, but I was sad, I was upset, I was discontent with life. And so I found myself not doing a job that made me happy, but I became more content with life to the point where the job got in the way of what I wanted out of life. And so that joke about the used bookstore, and then so this thing. And so now I have somehow, some way stumbled into a thing where I get to have it all in the same day. But here's the thing. I also get to have it all in the same day, if that makes sense.
Like you sometimes cry in a mirror, but then you're having a great afternoon.
But guess what?
You don't have to be happy all the time.
But
Just
that's
do your best.
so in line with my personality and my body chemistry and like how my hamster spins. And so if I have my toolbox, right, and my support systems, when I go off tilt, when I get off center line, which happens to the best of us, I got my friend here. Like the one guy who, if he says something, I'm gonna heed. And we got to have that a month ago. 3 weeks into the opening the doors to Belleville, we got some feedback and we needed to talk, but we were so busy.
Yeah.
And we finally found a Thursday night where we just chatted for an hour, uninterrupted, no phone, no nothing, no people coming up. And in an hour, we got more work done. That set us up for the next month of to-dos on that hour of conversation. And we continue to forget that. We forget that if we just spend some time together. So we have a date this afternoon. We're just hanging out. We're going to grab lunch, go to my place, play my Kit Kats. I got 2 kitties.
Can we talk about your
From
cats?
the barn.
Yes.
They're from a barn.
Kyle got me a cat for my birthday.
We had 8 cats. He got 2.
Hey.
Yeah, that's such a thing. I feel like when you have a barn, you're like, you want a cat?
You need to keep having them, right? Because
The
coyotes and
mice,
different things, they leave the mice.
I'm obsessed with so
And you're getting more Kyle, you have
Instagrams?
sheep too. That's the whole
Which
thing.
ones? The Belleville?
I don't care. The ones with the cats.
The
I'm
one with the
obsessed
cats.
with them.
Yes.
I'm just like,
I've been working on that.
Cats.
So again, one of those things that I always wanted was like pets, but like my household when I was a kid didn't have pets. So it was just like some rule that I followed my whole life was like, I don't have pets.
That sounds stupid.
It is, but how silly are the things that we made up when we were 17?
I don't trust people that don't have
No,
pets.
me neither.
Right, but like I got this pet. This guy he comes over to my house.
Did you just surprise him with a cat?
It was my birthday present.
That's so
It was my
fucking cute.
birthday present. This guy got me a cat. This tiny little thing.
You were like, take my barn cat. I don't want it.
No, we have 8. We had 8 at the
Here's
time.
the thing. Not only did he do that, he kept it a secret for like a month and a half.
Oh, nice.
Ruby knew at the truck, and she kept the secret.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was so
I
proud
can't
of
keep
them.
secrets.
Everyone
No, me
knew.
I was so proud of them.
Everyone knew I was going to do it.
Because that moment when I open the door and I see the cat, I'm like, what's going on?
Did you cry?
I mean, yes and no.
Okay.
I
Like,
have since.
Yeah.
Not only that, though, a week later, I'm like, give me another one.
Oh, so that's when he got the second one.
They need to have friends.
Twin.
I got Warren, the runt, right? So it's runt. And like, buddy, my guy Warren, he's at weight, buddy. He's the same weight. I weighed
He
them.
looks good.
He's fantastic. Not only that,
Well,
he's the smart one.
He had a bot fly. Do you know
Oh.
what that is?
Yeah.
So we had to, so I thought it really, we didn't get to it in time, so I thought it really affected his growth and everything.
Walking
but
into walls or something.
He's A-okay. He's A-okay. And so
He's the smart one.
You don't
his
have
sister-
dogs on your farm either.
yeah,
so
this spring.
do you want my water buffalo? I'm selling them.
No, thank you.
Are you sure?
No,
They're
we
great.
like our structure standing.
We only lost a couple. This has been great.
I tried to. Oh, by the way, I have an update about the water buffalo.
He doesn't want them.
No, he doesn't want them. And his sheep don't need shearing.
Oh, they're hair sheep. It's stupid. Your sheep will
We're
need
going to need our
shearing.
shearing, yeah. We're going to need your shearing. Apparently their wool's like top,
It's beautiful, baby. Oh,
top
Can we
notch.
spin it?
chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like cashmere.
Can I buy
It's like
it?
close to,
Yeah.
maybe. I think my wife, she's like
My wife.
fashion and she's a jewelry maker first,
Yeah.
but she's fashion. So I think she wants to keep it to do stuff, but maybe
But
we're not going to use
just
it.
one ball.
Sure.
I'll buy one ball.
Sure.
It's cute. I love Baby Doll.
Yeah.
Oh, you got cute sheep.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to need some
Were there any more
uncastrated ones.
questions?
No, I just started talking about sheep. Sorry.
No, I just want to make sure we.
No, I took an hour and 20 minutes of your day, so I feel a little bad.
Wonderful.
I went sideways. I'm like, okay,
I love it.
now I'm warm. Like now I'm ready.
Now we should keep. Well,
Turn it on.
I think you have to come back.
I would.
We'll have like a
love
Jimmy
that.
segment.
I
You
would
wanted a
love that.
podcast. Maybe we can help that dream, and you can just come on our
You know, I have
Babes of Quinte
all
with
the
Jimmy.
tools. I have the gab. You guys just got to keep me in line and on task. And if I forget stuff, you got to remind me.
This is literally my whole life.
We could all-
your job with Katie?
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. Well, yeah, pretty. I mean, yeah. No.
But I'm into
Today
it.
I
do
walked
it to
through
each
the
other.
hallway. Like I hated my job previous to coming back, and today I walked down the hallway. I was like, "Oh, I feel like doing a cartwheel."
I love it.
And
So
I couldn't because Joe was
Great,
right
man.
behind me. I would
just ride those waves, guys. Like just ride the waves because it's all waves, right? Like the ebbs and the flows, man. Have I done a good job?
You've done a
conveying
great
that
job.
I'm a hippie at heart.
Yes,
Cool.
to come to 250 Sydney Street.
Please, that'd be lovely.
Go behind the building and then follow the
We
pig.
got a sign.
Oh,
There's a sign there now.
We're
yeah.
trying to work on street presence, but by law and certain things can be certain places. And
You know,
so
like you can have like those those.
we got feather flags,
Yeah, you do have
that
feather
works.
flags.
but that was something that was.
And then like the winter, the ground freezes, man.
Oh, do you have to bring them in and out every day?
I think so.
Yeah, nothing stays out.
I think so. Maybe.
Belleville,
I would assume
around
like those
here.
people might just pick up and. It's
I
not
mean,
like the
I would
optimum
take
sign. Like,
them,
would you want an
yeah.
optimum thing in your apartment? But a Flossie's one.
I would
Unique.
steal
That'd be
Flossie
fun.
sign.
I'd steal
I
Flossie's
think
sign.
they'd
So
take
sorry.
it for like the metal that the thing is
Maybe,
made out
sure.
of.
Maybe.
Maybe
It's very true.
very true. Okay.
What is it? Copper?
People
That's
are
like
industrious.
people.
We'll share a map on our.
Well, so we have pamphlets we're going to be handing out, and I did a map on the back.
Should
love
we
that.
also?
Not only
we
that,
post it
though,
on our Instagram. You have more.
it's
fun.
part of the
Lovely.
fun.
I feel like we just need to go and
Yeah,
like
we'll come.
videotape how to
Sure.
get
Yeah,
there.
we'll do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you're open on Monday?
Monday, Jan 9th, we're back at
I'll
it.
be there
Okay.
Monday.
Monday to Friday.
Cool. Well, thank you.
And we are back at the truck. Can I throw that out there?
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I think
When are
a
you-
lot of people
when are you
feel
back?
like this is not in addition to.
Yeah.
And so we are back at Carson's April 1st. No joke.
Okay.
No joke.
Yeah, no April Fools. I think
No
the
April
first will be our kind of date that we'll lean
Give or
into.
take weather.
And
but
yeah.
Kyle and I will be ready to rock and roll. and
April
get
to
things set
October
up.
again. We
Okay.
closed up on October this year because we had to get set up here.
Yeah.
We'll go through October again, but we'll
Okay.
be April to October back at Carson's.
We'll put that in the show notes.
We can't tell you how excited we are for the season, 2023 season out in Prince Edward County. The things that we've learned here in Belleville that we're going to bring out there, and just the excitement that we're bringing this year.
We got some really cool new team members. Sam, Alzaria. We got some
Aaron,
positive female presence
yes.
bringing to the kitchen.
Love it.
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
It's good.
Are they lesbians? Have you refilled your lesbian quota?
No,
I don't think so, no.
I don't think so.
We
Again,
did scare
irreplaceable.
what was the kid's name on the truck?
Hunter.
Lana and I may have told him we were lesbians, and he was like, well, how was I supposed to know? And we were like, look at our fingernails.
How was I supposed to know? Yeah. No.
Like,
yeah.
and then, he wasn't allowed back after that.
That's right. There's a few conversations leading up to that, but you definitely rocked his world.
He was like, what?
Poor
I was like,
little sheltered county boy.
yeah.
Aw.
It was sad. Okay, I'm turning the mics off. Love
Bless
you
him.
all.
Bye.
That was amazing. Oh, that felt good. I feel like we've been off the last two episodes.
Yeah. No, that one was good.
That was a good one.
So the Flossie Posse.
I love them so much.
I really just think they're gems
I
of
give
people.
them like the biggest hugs when I see them. The food is to die for. They just posted you can get like take home freezer food, and one of it is like the eggplant parm. So you can get it like frozen, take it home and
need
cook
that.
it. I need it too.
I'm
And
just gonna text them and be like, "Hey, I need this for like Friday."
you do it. You can text ahead, and they can tell you about it.
Perfect.
So, like, I just enjoyed how open they were. I think they both came in on our level. They were nervous, but they gave us energy.
Yeah. I mean, I think that happens with a lot of guests where they're kind of a little bit nervous to begin with.
I think we were nervous to begin with.
I think I'm always nervous to begin with. I just burped. Sorry.
Burpee today.
Yeah. No, it was just a good chat, and they make me happy.
Make me really happy. And like, Kyle was my boss. He was a great boss. I got to work with my friend on the truck. And just watching him, I say it in the episode, but just watching like where he's going, where he's come from and where he's going is like magical.
That's like my favorite part, I think, about especially connecting with like new businesses is like seeing them when they start and then watching the growth throughout the years. It's like a beautiful thing.
What people have to understand is like owning a small business, it's so successful, right? But it's a constant hustle for those owners. It's not like it's just easy eventually.
It's never easy.
You're hustling constantly, and watching Kyle and James hustle is inspiring. Watching many people hustle, but I've like witnessed it firsthand.
Thing too is like the whole like social media thing, and it's like, you know, things look pretty on socials and you know, but it's like it's a shitload of work, for lack of better words.
And I think this comes into something I wanted to talk to you about.
What?
Well, because I was like depressed last week.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday, you know what? Like I think the new year is really hard because everyone's like, new year, new me, and I went off about it last week that like it's just so hard because nothing really changes.
Yeah.
And then I get down on myself because I'm like, why? It's a new year. It should be happy. I should be happy now, but like everything's still going on the way it was. So I've been going through like a depressive episode, but you know what? I went to therapy last week. I cleaned my house on Saturday and I showered, and those are my victories.
Honestly, if that's what it is, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think cleaning is kind of like therapeutic because after you're done, it's like
sometimes I get really overwhelmed with like dishes and stuff, and I'm like, I just have to clean this house and I'll feel better.
So I have like an ADHD hack for cleaning.
Is it the saran wrap?
No, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you put sticky paper in your
yes.
I like that one. Okay, what's your cleaning hack?
Do things in chunks.
Oh, I like that.
So like if I'm cleaning the kitchen, I'm going to clean one section of it first. So even if I don't finish the rest, that one section, I can see the progress.
Oh, I like that.
Because that's how my brain, like if I can do a whole bunch of little things all over the kitchen, but it still looks messy. So it makes me feel like I didn't accomplish anything.
So if you do
But if I focus on like one side of the counter, like the dishes area, if I do all of the dishes, then it's like, okay, the sink is clean. You know, it's like I feel like I accomplished something.
I think too, I'm just trying this year not to be so hard on myself. Like I don't always have to be busy.
No,
it's very okay to like take a moment, and I think I'm very much in a healing space, a healing period of life right now.
I think so too,
and I think that's important too.
Just gotta be nicer to yourself.
Gotta be nicer to yourself, and I think Kyle and Jimmy reminded me of that.
Yeah,
so that was great.
Everything is a process. It's all a journey.
It's a journey, isn't it?
And sometimes there's downs, and sometimes there's gonna be ups.
It's gonna be ups. It's gonna be downs. It's gonna be a middle part and an ending part.
I'm very happy about this part right now with the charcuterie board. I'm staring at it.
Yeah, it's still here. We're going to eat it. But what else? Okay. Should we announce the thing we're going to do?
We should announce the thing we're going to do.
We're going to make it like official online, but that's not happened yet. We'll get there. Calm down, everyone.
So I guess this is kind of like a pre,
because it's a pre.
It's a pre-announcement.
A pre-announcement that we are hosting a live stream.
Yes.
With bingo and prizes and a guest.
I'm very excited
on February 13th.
Valentine's Day. Didn't even realize it. It just kind of happened that way. We have some sick prizes from past guests. I'm not going to say them yet because I want to make sure we have all the sponsors and stuff right. I'm so excited. I think it'll be fun. I'm so nervous because I realized yesterday that this will be live, and usually we edit things. We have Kira Reed coming on from the Grange Winery. So that's our special guest. I hope she brings her dog. I do too. This is a dog-friendly office. I'll tell her that. And it's so nerve-wracking. I hope it works. So if you're willing to pay to do this, please buy a ticket. And you get 3 bingo cards, a sticker, and a magnet just from us. And then you get to watch us talk, and you can ask questions too, maybe. Yeah, well, we'll keep the chat open. People can like ask questions. Or we can like let them go live and talk their questions. Whoa. I like that too. Mind blowing. And what was I going to say? Our sweaters are ready. I'm picking them up tomorrow. So sweaters will be available. Please buy them. We have to keep proving to our bosses that this is doing well. So thank you for all your support. Please buy them. I'm buying one. And am I buying my own merch? Absolutely. I always buy my own merch.
One thing too, Kira actually gave me this idea for when we are going live, but then I thought maybe we incorporate it all the time. So let me know what you think. I'm going to throw it at you right now.
Okay, go.
So she said we need a buzzer for swearing, and I was like, no, we'll just swear. We'll just tell people. And she's like, there should be a swear jar, and then at the end that goes to charity.
Ooh.
And I was like, that's actually a great idea. So I think from now on the pod, if we swear, we have to put $1 in the swear jar.
Perfect.
And then at like the end of the month, we'll donate that to a charity.
Love it.
So guests that come on have to know you can swear, but there's a swear jar, and it goes to charity. And,
love it.
And I think
Love
that's
it.
kind of a cool. So
we have to set swear words. Like, is shit a swear word?
like I guess for charity, yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
$1 in the swear jar.
Oh. And what else? Next week's guest is really cool.
So
He's a potential mayor, or like could have been a mayor.
could have been a mayor. I mean, I think eventually he could totally win.
The mayor
Yeah.
place, yeah.
I think he'd be a great mayor.
But we'll post more about that this week.